Hi, Sarah Pacaro, hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapist. Today, I am going to talk to you about the narcissist in your life. Maybe they are currently in your life, maybe they are in your past life. But the difference between what you want the narcissist to do and what the narcissist is actually going to do. So, in a healthy relationship, someone who loves you and cares about you and really, really actually wants to know you and how you feel is going to be open to communication. They're going to be mature. They are going to have your back and they're going to want to experience things with you autonomously. They're going to want to get to know you, everything about you and how you experience the world. It's not going to be an all or nothing just about them. When you are faced with needing to set boundaries with anybody, but a narcissist in specific, it's not the case. It's not going to happen. They don't like boundaries because boundaries mean this is the line and you can't cross it. And if you do, there's this consequence. So narcissists will find ways to constantly push you for even daring to set boundaries, for even saying, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. They become angered and enraged by your desire to have an open dialogue and say, hey, can we talk about this? I want to work on this. Can we figure this out? You do that and then they become resentful for you. How dare you say that? Because what you're doing is you're suggesting that they crossed a line, and they don't care. They don't care how you feel. How you feel, the fact that your feelings are hurt never crosses their mind. So, in regard to narcissists, there are different kinds. You'll notice that the overt kind is kind of the more out there, the more loud, the more boisterous. Those are the easier to spot narcissists. Those are the ones that will bully you and not feel bad about it, not think twice about it. They will verbally demean you. They will put you down. They will treat you unkindly in front of other people. More covert narcissists seem to kind of do it more behind the scenes, but the overt narcissists will do it openly in front of others. They will make you look like a fool in front of other people. They don't try to hide it at all. They are just outright. You just think, oh my God, really? When they're doing that, because they are doing it in front of others, which actually further perpetuates your shame because you feel like, wow, really? And it's very, very embarrassing, belittling, demeaning. Covert narcissists are different. They find ways to show their hidden rage, their hidden aggression, their resentments. When dealing with covert narcissists, it's much more important to rely on your hunches, that intuition, your common sense. Like common sense says, in a normal, healthy relationship, this wouldn't be an issue, or it would be something that would be easy to come to a resolution or a conclusion. So with covert narcissists, it's not as in your face. So you do need to rely more on your intuition, more on those hunches, more on your common sense, that gut feeling that often is there but gets ignored. Covert narcissists will find various ways to let you know that they're not happy with you setting a boundary either. Hope you see a theme here. No narcissists like boundaries, but what you'll notice is there will be no genuine interest in your experience, what your emotions are, what your thoughts, what your feelings about things are. There will be no genuine interest in any of that at all. Your desires, your needs, your wants. You will notice the need for covert narcissists to do what they've always done. And if you are honest with yourself and you look back on this, you'll notice it's always been there. They've always done that. I don't know why. You may have the thought, I don't know why I didn't see it before. And this is to make your experience about them. They are always making the experience about them. So be careful with that. You already know that the narcissists, whether they're overt or covert, offer perpetual letdowns. You're constantly feeling let down. You're constantly feeling just soul crushing disappointment, constantly thinking and wondering, is it me? What did I do? I just don't get it. I just don't understand. A healthy relationship gives you the opportunity to explore, ask questions, go deeper to understand. But in a narcissistic relationship, you will constantly be let down and constantly feel like you don't understand, despite magnificent efforts to understand. No amount of being the bigger person, and some people say this, and it's horrible advice, just be the bigger person. Just don't let it bother you. Don't let it get to you. Well, you're a human being and you have needs, emotional needs that are not being met in this relationship. So, no amount of being the bigger person with the narcissist is going to have any kind of value or make any kind of difference in the relationship. So it becomes pointless and effortless to try to convince them to see the way that they are with you, to see the ways that they interrupt you, to see the ways they belittle you and put you down when you say things like, see, there you go, you just did it. And then they will always find a way to flip it around, turn it around on you. So being the bigger person and just walking away doesn't give any kind of solution to this problem. Uh, Educating them, like, this is, see, this is what you do, and maybe sending them articles or saying, I heard someone say this, or I watched this video, this is the way you are. No amount of crying to get them to try to see how badly they've hurt you, or no amount of spying on them, whether it's through email, social media, different accounts, is going to help. Even when you catch them in what they're doing, they are going to find a way to turn it around and make it your fault. See, you're spying on me. Why would you do that? I would never do that to you. There's always going to be a lot of manipulation and turnaround. So it just becomes pointless to try to convince them otherwise, to try to educate them, to try to cry, to try to get them to see how badly they're hurting you. Because it's not about trying enough. That's not the problem. It's not a matter of trying enough. That's not the problem is. And I wish I could tell you it doesn't need to hurt this bad, but it does hurt this bad. You experiencing that heaviness, that pain, that letdown, this person that you have given yourself to, spent your life with, maybe raised kids with, this sense that you're constantly overreacting about things, this feeling of this deep emotional pain that just numbs you. Like it either puts you in one of those responses, those fight, flight, freeze, most often fawn. And you've been in that and you go in and out of them constantly because of this need to try to figure it out, make meaning of it. So the overreacting, the emotional pain, the chronic deep anxiety, and that deep, deep pain and hurt and betrayal and abandonment that you feel is a side effect. It's a side effect of these repeated traumas. The narcissist does this over and over. And what led you to being with that narcissist is the same type of experiences that you have endured in past relationships. Maybe it's relationships with your parents, maybe it's siblings, maybe it's other, you know, past husbands, wives, whoever it is, past people. So it's not your fault, and it's not that you weren't trying hard enough or that you didn't do enough to show up for the narcissist in the same way that you wanted and needed them to show up for you. It's not that you're a bad person. It's not that there's like a secret trick or something that you missed, and if you can only find that one thing and only do that one thing, like that magic pill, that everything will be different. It's not for a matter of any of that. What you need to make that hurt and that pain go away and improve your relationship with the narcissist is to get back everything they've taken from you. Get back that confidence, get back that ability to listen to that gut feeling, that inner voice, that intuition. What you need is to release the feelings of heaviness, sadness, the neediness, that depression, that soul crushing anxiety and tension that you feel, and install more confidence, more trust, more belief in yourself. Those are things that are linked to other areas of abuse, like financial abuse is huge. That was my experience and what kept me staying so long. I didn't believe that I could get into a career or profession or do anything that would allow me to be financially free. So because of that, if you looked underneath that, what was behind that was that confidence in myself, that trust in myself, and shutting out that voice, that inner voice that the narcissist has further installed in your mind and see that these are all actually symptoms of the real problem. That's not the root cause. And that is what rapid transformational therapy, hypnotherapy gets you to very quickly, very easily, is the root cause. The root cause is that you think, you'll never be able to heal this relationship with the narcissist. Because by design, the relationship with the narcissist keeps you hooked through different and various forms of abuse, betrayal, the love bombing, the disvalue, the discarding. It's not ever going to be a healthy relationship. And then that's by design. So you might be thinking, but they're not like this all the time. Like there are so many times they can be loving and caring. We've had a lot of really, really good times together. When it was good, it was good. When it was bad, it was bad. I hear that all the time. And you think that they're showing up in this way and you're understanding why they're showing up in this way. You understand why they are the way they are because they've shared their abuses and their past pains and traumas with you. They've shared that with you by design to get you to feel bad for them, to get you to dismiss and excuse their negative abusive behavior. So there's a quote that says, one of the obstacles to recognizing chronic mistreatment in relationships is that most abusive individuals don't seem like abusers. And you would think, how is someone who's so abusive, how is it that they can be so loving to me all the time? And you often wonder this. You see them for the good qualities that they have. You see them for their times that they're kind, times that they're warm, like things that they do for you, like ways that they're funny, especially in the early part of the relationship in the love bombing phase. And you just want that back. You have this frequent thought, I just want them to be the way that they were in the beginning. And maybe you see the abuser's friends and they love them, they adore them, they seem to worship the ground that they walk on. Maybe it's in their workplace. Maybe they have a very successful work life and they do really, really well financially. They seem to have no problems with drugs or alcohol. Some do, some don't, or some hide it. And you just think, well, they're not an addict. They have a successful job. It's just me. Everyone else seems to think that they're so amazing. And so in your mind, they just simply don't fit this image of what you see as cruel or like this bad person, this intimidating person, and no one else seems to see it either. You seem to be the only one that feels this way about this person. So that can be one of the most perpetuating thoughts and feelings that keep you stuck because the target of the abuse seems to be only on you and it seems to spin out of control and be intermittent, like the stopping and starting. So it can be really confusing. So often the problem is that other people don't see this person as an abuser, and you are second guessing and questioning yourself whether this person actually is an abuser or not. And in doing research and trying to figure out what is going on, you probably come across the term trauma bond. And trauma bond is where, it's pretty self explanatory. You're bonded to this person through traumas, and trauma bonding, people get into deeply painful and hurtful relationships because in the beginning there seemed to be a lot of intimacy and a lot of really deep connection, openness and vulnerability, this bond, right? Where this connection in the beginning where that person seemed to open up to you, really they did it to hook you and get you to feel bad for them. In the future they were setting this pace and planting these seeds. Look, I'm going to be able to use this later on to abuse you because you're going to feel bad for me and what I've gone through, and I'm going to continue to go back to that, and you're going to have that knowing in your head. And because of that, like, it's that foundation you always find that you fall back on. I feel bad for them because I know they didn't have a good upbringing. They had these horrible experiences. If I had gone through what they've gone through, then I would probably be like that too. So it sets the stage for them to abuse you. And that's really what the definition of the trauma bond is. there are bad moments in the relationship, and you start to fall back on that, but then and you feel better because there's these memories of the highs and the lows and the goods and the bad. And rapid transformational therapy uses neuroscience. It's a combination of hypnosis to get you into state of focus and creativity. It's a neuro linguistic programming, and there's this source, the way that our mind works and in imprints, especially in abusive relationships, they imprint on your psyche. And from that point forward, anytime you experience a sense of, fight, flight, freeze, or fawning, that experience becomes imprinted in your brain. It literally becomes embedded, and it becomes a story that you believe about yourself. Because in that moment when the abuse is happening, you go into that state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and then you feel like you get stuck in that space. So when you grasp onto the way that things were, hold on to the way things were in the beginning when they were so good, instead of acknowledging what's happening currently in the present moment, where you are being abused, you are being manipulated, you are being gaslit, and you are being controlled, all those things, what is happening is that you are unconsciously or subconsciously enabling more bad behavior. You are treating them how to teach you. You are teaching them that you will just accept this, that there are no consequences to the boundaries. So the story in your mind becomes about how the two of you began, and you stay in that fascination stage. Your mind is creative and powerful, and it will always take you towards pleasure and away from pain. And so you stay focused on that beginning, that love bombing stage, because you feel that because the relationship began that way, that you can go back to it being that way. If only you can get through to them, if only you can get them to see, if only you can find a way to reach them, because they're off somewhere else now. That wasn't real. That was a setup. But in your mind, it becomes imprinted. No, that was real to me. That was my reality. And you think if we can just get back to that place, how it was in the beginning, everything will be better. And this is exactly what keeps people, victims, the other person in this relationship stuck in that relationship. And they spend years in this space thinking, if only, and they're ruminating about, if we could just go back to the way things were in the beginning. And then before you know it, years and years and years of your life are gone. You can't ever get those back. Here's the thing. If you're trying to make things work and you're the one who's always blamed for everything in the relationship, that is wrong. It takes two to tango. It takes two people to be in a relationship. And if you're the only one that's being blamed for everything going wrong, you're not really in a relationship. In a relationship, because there are two people, there are two sources of responsibility. If the abusive person in your life or in your past or whatever promises to change, promises they'll get better, promises that they'll go to counseling or see a therapist, and they never do, or they go once or twice and then they stop and they say, I'm fine. Like the therapist said it was you, you're the crazy one. They never do. You're not in an actual relationship. And I know that might be hard to let that sink in. So, what is it then if it's not a relationship? Well, it's abuse. What it is, it's violence, it's manipulation, it's emotional abuse. It's not a relationship. A relationship takes two willing people. You'll see that you feel like it's just you. It's just you and that crazy voice inside your head, because it becomes an impossible situation. Because what we know about narcissists and other people with those traits is that they don't change. They don't ever wake up one day and go, wow, I'm willing to take responsibility now. Thank you. Thank you for everything you've shared with me. No, even if they do, it's such a short-lived time and period. It's always to fulfill an agenda. I always shared it was the experience of like kicking the can down the road. It was never permanent change. It was just short-lived. It was like, see here, are you happy now? Look, I did what you said. you wanted me to do. And then it's right back to the abuse. It's right back to the manipulation. It's right back to the feeling miserable. And it's like, man, things were getting better. Well, how are we back here? Because when you think things get better, you think they're going to drive along this road, and then you're going to get to this happy destination. And you think in your mind that happy destination is the way that it was in the beginning. So, what to do? Well, the first thing is awareness and acceptance. Um, I always say it's the first letter of the alphabet because it's the first step. Becoming aware of this, accepting that things will never go back to the way that they used to be, no matter how hard you try, no matter how bad you want that. Acceptance that they are not and never were as caring and loving and nurturing and understanding as they seemed to be in the beginning. That was all fake. It's called future faking, and that's for another video. But accepting that that is who they truly are. Who they truly are is what you're feeling and experiencing right now. Someone who manipulates you and gaslights you and will never ever change, no matter how hard you try to change them or no matter how bad you want. Acceptance that there is nothing humanly possible that you can do to get them to be any different. And that staying in the relationship is staying in that place of misery, dread, and devastation. So the only thing you can ever do to move forward is to get out of that relationship, do it safely, right? And it's not always an overnight thing. You've got to create a plan and implement that plan. A lot of time it includes getting yourself to a safe situation and a safe place financially. Uh, that's also for another video, but this video is to help you understand that what you want and what the narcissist wants are not the same thing, never have been, and never will be. I work with people who have gotten out and are ready to go on their journey to healing, ready to reprogram, rewire their inner subconscious beliefs about themselves, reinstall more trust, more confidence, and get unstuck. So if that's where you're at in your journey to healing, once you're out and you've accepted and you are aware this person will never change and it's actually no longer about them, I need to move forward in my life and I need to heal. And you're looking for a way to do that using your subconscious mind, that 90 to 95% of your mind, break those limiting patterns and beliefs, then I am happy to connect and would love to chat more.